Libra, my radiant soul aligned with balance and beauty. If you're hearing this message right now, then your miracle has already begun. October 29th isn't Kamenja, it's arriving with purpose. And if you've been sensing a strange stillness in the air, a quiet anticipation in your spirit, or a sudden magnetic pull toward messages like this, then it's not your imagination. It's divine design. And this message is your confirmation. This video is not just another horoscope update. It's a spiritual transmission for Libra souls who are on the verge of something extraordinary. I'm here to share what could be the most important moment of your month, perhaps even your year. Because on October 29th, the universe is sending 5 divine signs to chosen ones. These are not subtle nudges. These are unmistakable markers that a life-changing shift is in motion for you. This day is spiritually encoded with the number 11, the number of divine timing, spiritual awakening, and cosmic clarity. October 29th reduces to this sacred number. 2 plus 9 is equal to 11, signaling that a doorway is opening specifically for Libras who have waited patiently, endured silently, and believed even when nothing around them looked promising. And you, my dear Libra, are one of them. Imagine this: a golden portal opens under the stars. Light pours through, soft, luminous, undeniable. You step toward it, not because someone pushed you, but because your soul recognizes it as home. That's what October 29th is. A homecoming. A remembering. A realignment with the version of you that's been waiting to emerge. But here's the thing. The signs that confirm this transformation won't arrive in loud announcements. They'll come as unexpected shifts, moments of clarity, peace, provision, reconnection, or divine dreams. And in just a few moments, I'll guide you through each of the 5 sacred signs that you may witness on October 29th, and what they truly mean for your next chapter. But before we begin, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what brought you here? Was it intuition? A whisper from spirit? A sudden flash of curiosity? Whatever led you to this video, trust it. Because I believe, with every fiber of my soul, that you didn't stumble into this message. You were summoned to it. And just before we move into the revelations, I want to take a moment to thank you. Let me offer my heartfelt gratitude for your presence here, for every like, every comment, and every new soul who joins the Zodiac Whisper Tarot family. You are not just supporting a channel. You are becoming part of a sacred movement of energy, healing, and divine truth. Your presence allows this work to reach others who need it. Thank you. Truly. Now, if this message is already speaking to your soul, if something inside you is stirring, comment below and say, I am ready for my October 29th miracle. Let that be your affirmation. Let heaven hear you say it. Because Libra, what's coming next is nothing short of spectacular. Stay with me until the very last second, because by the end of this message, you won't just know what to expect, you'll feel it. And you'll be ready. Let's begin. There's something sacred about timing, not just in the way clocks tick or calendars turn, but in the way the universe moves when your spirit is finally ready. And Libra, this is your time. Not metaphorically. Not someday. But now. Because October 29th is no ordinary day. It carries a vibrational intelligence that your soul understands, even if your mind is still catching up. In numerology, 2 plus 9 becomes 11, a master number, revered for its connection to divine purpose, spiritual awakening, and higher calling. This number doesn't just appear. It emerges when someone is being called to rise into something greater than they've known before. That someone is you. Think of where you've been lately mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You've balanced so much for others. You've given light even when your own lamp flickered. You've held your tongue, offered grace, sacrificed your own comfort in pursuit of peace. And the world may not have always applauded you for it, but the energetic blueprint of the universe has. You, Libra, are the keeper of harmony in a world that constantly shifts. And when the cosmos shifts back in your favor as it does now, miracles can unfold. This week's astrological weather supports that. Venus, your ruling planet, the planet of love, beauty, self-worth, and abundancious, dancing in rare alignment with expansive Jupiter. It's as if the universe is conspiring to bless you in every area you've been stretched thin: relationships, finances, confidence, and purpose. After the recent eclipse cycle, which closed karmic doors and peeled back illusions, you now stand before a different kind of portal. One that opens not with chaos but with clarity. With quiet power. With divine timing. When Venus and Jupiter harmonize like this, it's not about loud, performative breakthroughs. It's about subtle inner knowing. It's the moment you realize someone who ignored your worth suddenly sees you with new eyes. It's when the opportunity you thought had passed comes knocking again, only this time, you're stronger, wiser, ready. It's when your reflection stares back at you and says, "I'm proud of how far you've come." And then there's the star, your tarot ally in this cosmic moment. The star doesn't scream for attention. It radiates. It arrives after the tower, the chaos, the breakage, the uncertainty. The star is what remains when the dust settles, the hope that was never lost, only buried. For you, Libra, this card whispers that your healing has already begun, even if it still feels tender. It reminds you that hope isn't naive, it's prophetic. You're not returning to the old version of yourself. You're becoming the version of yourself that was always waiting on the other side of the storm. In your everyday life, this might mean taking a step that once scared you. It might mean finally having a conversation you avoided, or creating boundaries where none existed. It might mean acknowledging that something good is happening and choosing not to sabotage it. That kind of choice takes courage, and faith, not the kind that demands proof, but the kind that simply says, "I trust that my next step is guided." I'm reminded of how, even in our busiest seasons, there are moments where grace sneaks in. A friend calls just when you're about to give up. A bill gets paid when you didn't know how. A job finds you instead of the other way around. These aren't coincidences. They're evidence that the unseen is always working in your favor when you stay aligned with your truth. Even in a life that feels overscheduled and overwhelming, there is space for sacred realignment. So if you felt out of sync, off balance, unsure if that's not a flaw. That's friction before expansion. Because growth often starts as discomfort. And breakthroughs? They rarely come with neon signs. They arrive as whispers, nudges, gentle echoes from within. This is your whisper, Libra. Your sign. Your sacred cue. You are not just being guided. You are being chosen. Sometimes, what appears on the outside as a small shift is, in fact, the evidence of a much deeper energetic realignment. You might not always notice it at first. But then suddenly, someone who once turned away from you looks you in the eye again. Their tone softens. Their words land differently. They reach out, perhaps awkwardly, yet sincerely. And in that moment, you feel something sacred, not because they changed, but because you did. When we speak about the first divine sign on October 29, a person unexpectedly treating you with kindness or warmth after a period of distance, it's more than just human behavior. It's the energetic mirror reflecting a shift in how you are now perceived. Because of the inner healing you've already been doing. The Six of Cups comes forward here, not to simply remind you of the past, but to offer you the chance to see it with new eyes. This card is about emotional redemption. It speaks to reconciliations that aren't forced, to grace that arrives without conditions. When someone changes how they engage with you, it's often because life, spirit, or consequence has softened something within them. Maybe they've been carrying guilt. Maybe they've been watching you from afar, seeing you grow in ways they never expected. Maybe they've been awakened by a dream, a moment of clarity, or the weight of silence. In astrology, when Venus, your ruling planet, aligns with expansive Jupiter, it unlocks the flow of benevolence not just financially, but relationally. There is grace for second chances. And even if this change catches you off guard, it's important to recognize it as more than a pleasant surprise. It is a signpost. A green light from the universe saying, this chapter is safe to open again if you want to. But remember, you don't owe your past any space it hasn't earned. Your role is not to judge the gesture, but to discern how it aligns with your peace. This kind of emotional healing can feel surreal. And if you've ever prayed quietly for closure, for understanding, for reconciliation, this could be that prayer beginning to take shape. I've witnessed it personally in moments when someone I never expected to hear from again sent a single, heartfelt message, apologizing for years of silence. No fanfare. Just truth. And the healing that came from that moment wasn't because everything was resolved, but because it proved that time, grace, and energy do shift reality when we stay aligned with our growth. The second divine sign often feels more practical, the unexpected arrival of money or value. But don't be misled, this is no less miraculous. When you receive provision from a source you weren't anticipating, it's not just financial. It's energetic evidence that you are in sync with the natural abundance meant for you. The Ace of Pentacles, in its purest form, is the universe saying, here. You are supported. And the form it arrives in doesn't matter as much as the way it makes you feel when you receive it, safe, seen, provided for. That's the blessing. With Venus and Jupiter also influencing this space of expansion, it is very possible that this gift could come just when you most need it without you having voiced it to anyone. A refund. A forgotten check. A bonus. A discount. A gift from someone who says they simply felt led to bless you. You don't need to chase it. That's the key. When you stop operating from the belief that you have to earn every ounce of goodness, the doors begin to open. And here's where your faith meets your action. The law of attraction teaches that our relationship with abundance is built through gratitude, not scarcity. So, if even a small unexpected financial shift shows up, celebrate it. Acknowledge it. Treat it as sacred, not small. In doing so, you're signaling to the universe that you're open for more. So if today, you've already noticed a softening in someone's gaze or a dollar amount that felt like it fell from nowhere, and dismiss it. Lean in. Breathe. And if you feel called, comment below to claim it with clarity. Say, I've seen the shift. I've received the sign. I am ready for more. Because this is only the beginning. There are moments when clarity arrives not as a result of overthinking or constant planning, but as a quiet knowing that gently lands in your awareness like sunlight filtering through a window. That is the essence of this third sign when a solution to a long-standing problem reveals itself to you not through effort, but through alignment. Maybe you've been circling the same issue for months, perhaps yours a career dilemma, a relationship you can't fully release, a decision that paralyzes you. And then one ordinary moment doing the dishes, driving in silence, pausing to breathe suddenly becomes the container for an extraordinary insight. It's not just an idea. It's a breakthrough. The Hermit paired with the Ace of Swords in Tarot speaks to this exact experience. The wisdom you've gained in solitude meets the clarity of divine truth. This isn't mental noise. This is precision. And it often arrives when your nervous system is calm enough to let the truth rise to the surface. That's why many people describe these moments as downloads. They come when you are relaxed, present, and not actively chasing an answer because your mind steps aside just long enough for higher guidance to speak. Astrologically, this kind of insight is common during the last quarter moon. This phase supports releasing confusion and illuminating what has been hidden. The fog that once clouded your decisions lifts, and what was once overwhelming becomes obvious. But this revelation is not just a gift, it's an invitation. An insight is only as powerful as what you do with it. That's why your first task when a moment of clarity strikes is to capture it. Write it down. Record a voice memo. Anchor it into something tangible. Because inspiration is like a dream, it fades unless it's honored. And what happens next is entirely up to you. The universe can open the door, but you must walk through it. Clarity is a holy moment, but implementation is where transformation lives. And you don't need to take a huge leap. Just take the next step. Let the answer guide your action. Trust that it came to you for a reason, and not a moment too soon. Then, in the very next breath, comes something even more sacred than the solution, a piece that doesn't quite make logical sense. That's the fourth sign. It shows up when nothing external has changed, and yet, you feel calm. Centered. Whole. That anxiety that used to live in your chest dissolves. That pressure in your mind softens. You wake up feeling like you've just been held by something unseen. It's not detachment or denial, it's inner stillness. It's healing from the inside out. In spiritual psychology, we call this nervous system reset. In everyday life, we call it grace. From an astrological lens, Neptune, the planet of compassion, dreams, and higher love, often plays a role in this energetic shift. Neptune dissolves boundaries, but it also dissolves fear. When it connects with your inner world, you remember that you are not alone. You remember that not everything needs to be fixed or figured out. Some things need only to be felt, and then released. The biblical phrase that echoes here is simple, but transformative. My peace I give you, not as the world gives. It reminds us that peace is not the absence of problems, it's the presence of trust. And when you find yourself in that space where everything is still uncertain, yet your heart is quiet, you've touched something divine. Finally, we come to the fifth sign, and it's one that moves through the language of dreams, symbols, and supernatural impressions. You may wake from a dream so vivid that it lingers with you all day. You may hear a sentence in your sleep that stays with you. Or you may feel the presence of someone who has passed, delivering a message you didn't know you needed. These aren't just random dreams. These are transmissions. Your intuition is tuning into a higher frequency, and your subconscious is becoming the translator. In moments like these, write down everything even if it doesn't make sense at first. Don't analyze too soon. Instead, protect the message the way you would protect a rare jewel. Let the meaning unfold gently over time. One true story I remember is of a woman who dreamt her late mother handed her a key. The next day, she received an unexpected job offer without applying. The dream made no sense until the door opened. Your dreams know what's coming, even when you don't. So if something stirs in you, if an answer comes, if peace arrives, if a vision speaks, don't rush past it. Take it seriously. Because on October 29th, these signs aren't coincidences. They are your confirmation that the universe is speaking directly to you. Sometimes, the universe whispers. Other times, it speaks through patterns, people, symbols. But when multiple signs appear all at once, 2, 3, maybe even all 5, it's no longer speaking in riddles. It's declaring. Boldly. Loudly. And if you found yourself experiencing more than one of these divine signals, then this isn't a gentle nudge anymore. It's a summons. It means your time has come, not next season, not when things are more convenient, but now. Something sacred is being activated in your life, and the signs converging are not for curiosity's sake, they are a call to rise. At this level of alignment, healing is no longer optional. It becomes urgent in the most beautiful way. You may feel it as a deep internal knowing that you can't keep carrying what you've outgrown. Old beliefs, outdated identities, worn-out stories, they begin to dissolve under the weight of your own becoming. What's happening isn't meant to overwhelm you. It's meant to free you. Because your soul didn't come here to stay hidden behind unworthiness or fear. It came here to remember itself. And when signs converge, the remembering intensifies. Astrologically, moments like these are often echoed by transits that push your chart's energy into alignment with your purpose. Whether it's a Jupiterian expansion, a Pluto rebirth, or a Saturn gateway demanding integrity, what you're feeling is not random. These celestial bodies move in rhythm with our readiness. You didn't miss your moment, you've matured into it. And that's the true magic, divine timing meeting divine courage. You're no longer being asked to rehearse your power in private. You're being asked to embody it, unapologetically. If you've ever found yourself thinking, I've been through so much. There has to be a reason, then this is that reason taking form. When spiritual signs line up like this, it's often the prelude to a new assignment, not just for success, but for impact. For purpose. Your life becomes less about surviving and more about stewarding something larger than you. That may look like launching something that's been on your heart for years. Or forgiving someone you never thought you could. Or stepping away from what feels safe, because your spirit knows there's more. In these seasons, I often remind my clients, the next chapter of your life requires a new version of you, one that has the same soul but clearer boundaries, deeper presence, and stronger faith. Because what's coming will ask for more of you. Not in exhaustion, but in authenticity. That's the mission. That's the work. And you wouldn't be receiving this confirmation unless you were ready. What I've learned, both in astrology and in guiding people through energy alignment, is that when miracles approach, they often show up disguised as responsibility. Your heart may feel heavier before it feels lighter. You may feel stretched before you feel centered. But that's only because the universe gives weight to what matters. And what's unfolding for you now? It matters. Even in the busiest, most overwhelming seasons of life, I've witnessed people step into their calling because the signs refuse to let them stay small. Like the woman who kept dreaming of a new path, ignored it for months, and then received an opportunity she couldn't deny. Or the man who started journaling what he thought were coincidences, only to look back and realize it was a map toward healing. These aren't rare stories. They are everyday miracles that happen when we choose to see clearly and act bravely. So if these signs are aligning for you, take it as permission to believe that your life is shifting because it is. And say it with me now, not just with your mouth, but with your whole being. I am stepping into my highest destiny. Let it be not just a declaration, but a decision. Because what waits on the other side of that choice is everything you've prayed for. And more. Not every transformation begins with thunder. Sometimes, the most profound changes begin with quiet, grounded decisions. And now that you've seen the signs, perhaps even felt the shift deep in your body, it's time to bring all of this cosmic energy into something more tangible. Because spiritual insight without action is like light without warmth. For you, dear Libra, this part of the journey isn't about dramatic reinvention. It's about realignment, coming back into harmony with yourself, not as an ideal, but as a living, breathing human being who still needs rest, nourishment, clarity, and love. Let's begin with your well-being. As an air sign ruled by Venus, your nervous system is more delicate than others might realize. You pick up on energy changes easily. You sense emotional atmospheres. You carry the weight of others' comfort while forgetting your own. That's why it's essential, especially in weeks like this, to return to your body and listen. Pay attention to your tension patterns. Notice if you're constantly holding it together for others. Sometimes the most healing thing you can do is exhale, drink water that feels alive, and allow yourself to do nothing without guilt. Celery juice, chamomile tea, and omega-3 rich foods aren't just nutritional suggestions. They are gentle allies for your mind and heart. They regulate, they calm, they replenish what's been drained by overthinking and overgiving. Likewise, a 7-minute morning meditation or a simple yoga flow isn't just about flexibility. It's about beginning your day in your own rhythm before the world rushes in with its demands. You don't need an hour. You need intentional stillness that belongs only to you. In work, you might be noticing subtle frustration, sense a loss of joy in tasks you used to enjoy, or a feeling of being boxed in. This doesn't always mean you need to quit your job or burn everything down. Often, it means you're craving expression, creativity, or connection in new forms. What if you could infuse more of yourself into what you already do? Could your emails carry more warmth? Could your workspace reflect more of your light? Could you take one project that feels aligned and give it more love? Sometimes, transformation isn't about leaving, it's about letting your current space reflect who you're becoming. Now let's talk about finances. It's not about control. It's about consciousness. As someone sensitive to energetic flow, money often represents something deeper for you: safety, freedom, the ability to say no. A simple budget journal or spending tracker isn't restrictive. It's revealing. Try this. For every purchase or bill, ask yourself, did this exchange bring peace or tension? This is not a question of guilt, it's a tool for realignment. The point isn't to cut everything. It's to give yourself permission to use money in ways that support, not deplete your energy. And finally, the heart. Libra, you don't need to perform balance. You are balance. And in relationships, it's okay to let people see your heart without the filter of perfection. Love isn't found in the absence of conflict. It lives in the willingness to be fully present, even when it's messy. If there's someone you love, say so. If you're unsure, explore it without pressure. The best relationships aren't made of constant harmony, they're made of consistent willingness to understand and be understood. Remember, even the sacred needs structure. Even miracles need daily care. These aren't role theory reminders. You don't have to rush. You just have to return to your body, your breath, your truth. If you need a sign to slow down, to reset, to care gently for your vessel and your vision, this is it. And if you feel it, whisper it back to yourself: I choose peace. I choose presence. I choose me. Dear Libra, you've waited long enough. You've carried silent hope through uncertain seasons, choosing grace when it would have been easier to close your heart. But today, after everything we've explored together, something within you is shifting. Can you feel it? That soft but powerful knowing that you are no longer the version of yourself who simply hopes for change. You are now the one becoming the change. If you've made it to this point in the video, it's not by accident. Something in your soul called you here. And what you've just experienced is not just a reading, it's an activation. The signs we've uncovered, the messages whispered through your intuition, the clarity now rising in your body, they are here to remind you, you are not behind. You are right on time. In fact, you are early. Because what's coming for you, Libra, is greater than what you're walking away from. You are the keeper of balance, but you are also the bringer of transformation. You've been the one to hold peace for others, now it's time to hold it for yourself. So let me ask you, what are you finally ready to release? What story are you done repeating in your head? And more importantly, what version of you is ready to rise? Don't underestimate what happens when you declare a new identity. You're not waiting for permission anymore. You're claiming the life that has always been meant for you. So say it out loud, write it in the comments, affirm it with your whole being: I am the light. I am ready for my October 29th miracle. I am an awakened Libra. Feel how different that feels compared to the old you, the one who doubted, delayed, or dismissed their own power. And if this message resonated even slightly, if you saw even one sign that felt familiar, one phrase that stirred something in your chest, and let the moment pass. Let this be the moment you choose your golden era. Comment below and tell me, what sign did you witness? What shift do you feel unfolding? Let us know with something as simple as, I saw the sign. I'm entering my golden age. Because when you share your awakening, you give permission for others to awaken too. Thank you truly for being here. Every like, every comment, every shared moment you spend with this space. It helps this community grow, and it lets the sacred messages of this channel reach more Libra souls who need it. You are not alone in this. You are part of something much greater. And it is my deepest honor to walk this path with you. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to Zodiac Whisper Tarot, and share this message with a fellow Libra who might be waiting for the same nudge you just received. Because sometimes, all it takes is one aligned message to change everything. This is Zodiac Whisper Tarot, where every soul is awakened, and every dream is given a chance to become real. Stay open. Stay ready. Stay radiant. Your miracle is not coming. It's already begun.